All right. Well, welcome everybody once again to another special episode of, I guess, down in the valley. Have already interviewed Coach Reyna, and now, of course, we get to interview, well, the man himself that we've all been waiting for, the man who ended up scoring the go-ahead goal in the first home match for the RGV Red Crowns and made history. It is Vicente Alvarez. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for the cool introduction. That means a lot. Thank you. I'm doing good though. How are you?
Doing all right, and yeah, of course, man. I mean, yeah, we go back a bit as well,
Yeah.
you and I, because of my cousin Leo, and so I mean, it's so cool. So yeah, it's been a minute for sure because
A
you've
good while,
yeah
yeah, since high school.
yeah exactly. You played in high school, you played in college soccer. We didn't really get to talk then, but now, of course, you're playing for the RGV Red Crowns, and so like I kind of want to go through that history a bit, just of your playing, because I mean, what made you fall in love with the game? That's of course the main question in my eyes.
So I had always played growing up for some reason, but I think what kind of furthered my love for the game was my older cousin Gustavo. He showed me a video of Ronaldinho playing for Barca, and that's where I was like, this isn't real. He's crazy. So I started supporting Barca, and then I started watching their games. And I started falling more in love with soccer in general, right? And it just kept building up from there because then I got introduced to Messi, and now he's my idol. So
It's pretty solid idol to have, in my opinion.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So of course, yeah, we get to the start of it, kind of, and well, like, of course, you joined the Toros Academy at kind of a young age. What was that kind of like, to that process, like, to get into that academy and to try and work your butt off to see if you could make it to that top step of the first team in the USL?
Yeah, so it was whenever they announced the trials for the academy, I was maybe in seventh grade, I believe. My mom said, "Hey, like it's time we walk through the door that's open, so let's go give it a try." We gave it a try, and after the first trial, they said, "Yeah, we'd like to bring you in, see how you fit in with the squad." Ended up making the squad with the DA before it was MLS Next. So I made the DA with the '04 team. I'm '05, so that was great. Huge experience. Fast forward a couple years, I'm 16 now, 17, and I've been called up to a couple sessions with the first team here and there, maybe help out the players that are recovering that didn't travel. So it was all great. Toros gave me opportunity of a lifetime. Like I loved it there. It was great.
That is awesome. And of course, yeah, after a while, you saw that was kind of ending in your eyes, I guess. And so, what made you make that step to jump into, I guess, high school soccer for your final, I believe, 2 years of school?
Um, I found myself in a position where I was questioning, like, should I quit the sport? Should I keep playing? So I decided, like, hey, I should just have fun. Like my parents, they also don't get to watch me play a lot of soccer with Toros because we're traveling by plane or long distances. So I made the decision of, hey, like they want to watch me play, and I also want to watch myself play a full game, right? Like I want to have fun. Um, I just want to experience soccer the way that it should be experienced. So I decided to play high school for my last 2 years in entirety.
Wow. I mean, yeah, I didn't know about that as well, because, yeah, thankfully, on my end as well, we know about this. I got to cover you all with that company, Rio Sports Live. And so, I mean, just talk about, I guess, a little bit about that, your experience with high school soccer for those 2 years. You said you were able to just enjoy yourself, and I mean, how we all should just enjoy the beautiful game in general. But yeah,
Yeah.
just take us through, I guess, those final 2 years for yourself.
Yeah, so I found myself playing with all my childhood friends, with Leo, with Aaron, Marco. Like I found myself playing with everyone, and it was a truly beautiful experience because I think that gave me the push I needed to play into the collegiate level. Right, not so much in, let's say, technical issues or anything, but more of like mentally, right? I found myself happier. I found myself loving practice, loving games. You know, winning or losing, I love the feeling because I was with my best friends. You know, my coach, super close with him, Coach Segovia. You know him; he's a great guy.
Mm.
The other coaching staff, great people. Um, so, like I said, I just found myself being happy at every moment. You know, from junior year, we didn't make the playoffs. Senior year to being district champions, it was it was like a World Cup feeling, I guess. It was great. You know, like I felt like I needed that push.
For sure, and yeah, you mentioned, of course, yes, you got to play collegiate soccer, so kind of I always love this because it's such an interesting way to go into that next level. If you don't mind kind of talking about that recruiting side and ho how you ended up coming about with the team of St. Edward's University.
Yes, sir. So, like I mentioned, you know, about wanting to quit the sport, my mom said, "Hey, one last ride. Let's go to California to Coachella, to the MLS Next showcase." She said, "One last. It's in your contract. One last ride." And I said, "Okay, we'll go." First game, I bag a goal and I think an assist. Second game, a goal and two assists. And that's whenever the St. Edwards coach Brian Young uh, approached me and said, "Hey, I'm interested. Let's talk." And we talked. And then from there, I heard his plan. I visited the campus. I saw the field. Beautiful. Everything was beautiful. The way he talked about the school, which he was correct about it all, made me decide like, hey, I should go. And it's also my dream, like to play at the next level. So I made the decision with my family that yeah, we need to take this risk.
And I mean, I'd say it was a great risk indeed because,
Yeah.
yeah, you get to play for 2 years, and so, uh, the cool part as well is that you're now playing with a couple of teammates from on this side, but before we jump into that, I guess yeah, so I guess what was it like also yes, you got to play with your friends in high school, but what was it like getting to play with a couple of friends in at St. Edward's?
It was you know, it was like a dream, like a fever dream. I was rooming with this guy that I grew up playing with since I was 6 years old, maybe six, seven, something like six, seven. And then Emmy, he's there. I met him when I was 10, 11, and oh, we're all friends and we're playing with each other. We're training with each other. We're messing around with each other, making memories, traveling together. Like I said, it was a fever dream. It's something that you don't believe to be real until you experience it, I guess.
Yeah,
And which in my experience, it was the best thing to ever happen so far.
that is awesome. Eh, and of course, yeah, I guess we can kind of dive more into this. So, I mean, how did you feel on those kind of even for your freshman year of college collegiate level soccer? What did you feel about that? How were you able to kind of acclimate with it?
It felt, I wouldn't say like a sense of comfort, but I'd say I felt very, um, I guess, happy with the level that you had to be at, right? Which kind of gave me that sense of comfort because I knew the coaches cared about us. I knew the other players cared about the other players, and I knew everyone cared about themselves as well. So my first year there, it was everyone pushing each other. You know, be the best in fitness, be the best technical wise, shooting, passing, everything. It sort of felt like a professional environment. You know, it kind of reminded me of Toros when we would train with the older guys, and no matter the size or height, you know, everyone wanted to be at the same level, and it was great. It was great. I love that a lot about St. Edwards, honestly.
That is awesome, and yeah, I mean, it's great that you were able to find the love of the game again and be able
Yeah,
to push yourself in that sense. And of course, in your second year, of course, in August, you know nothing about the Red Crowns, I guess, because I didn't as well. But kind of, I guess after that season, when did that kind of come about? That all of a sudden, oh, there's this owner, I guess, this coach as well that kind of wants to talk to me because there's a chance that there's going to be this semi-pro team in Harlingen, Texas.
I had actually received the news about the team in February, I believe.
Okay.
Early February, late January, around there. The goalkeeper JC Alvarez, he actually informed me about it. He said, "Hey, I just got contacted. There's gonna be a new semi-pro team." And in my head, I'm like, "That's great," because FC Brownsville, great team, right? But the drive was very taxing. You know, it's a lot. Um, and then we heard the plan. You know, the long-term goals, the short-term goals for excuse me, goals for this club, and I immediately said yes. Like I have to be part of this, right? So I sent all my film to Arez, the technical director. I sent my film, my resume, and from there we got on the phone a couple times, and we connected very well, and we agreed on yes, like you're part of the team, and just a blessing, just a huge blessing.
Of course, yeah. How did it feel when it was all announced and you were the first ever signing of this side?
It was cool. My parents were, you know, very excited. My sisters as well. They like to refer to themselves as my managers, so they felt very proud of themselves. Uh, it was great. Seeing all the support as well from the fans, even though they had never watched us play. It was maybe our first month of being announced. Seeing all the support, you know, all the media rise, felt very professional. Felt very, I don't know, like just lit up a fire in me that like, okay, like I want to play already. I want to train. I want to win. All that stuff. So it was great.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So, yeah, no, that it was so cool to see you be announced as well. Of course, as first. I'm sure that you've heard some of my clips about it, but I mean, how much has especially just being able to go into that next step of even college really helped benefit you for this step into the RGV Red Crowns?
Yeah, the intensity in college and collegiate soccer is something else. It's you need to be incredibly fit, and I feel like St. Edwards got me to that position. Now I'm able to run 90 minutes back and forward, side to side. I feel great, um, and also learning a lot in that space of collegiate soccer. The coaches, the way they taught us to play, and the intensity, the speed of play, that really got me. I'd say to the position where I'm at now, to the game intelligence that I have now. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If you can, kind of elaborate a little bit more on that, I guess, on that soccer intelligence, because I know that's always a big game is or a big talk about anything from basketball, football, whatever is having that soccer IQ as well.
Yeah. So just noticing where the space is, right? That's the most important part of the game. Um, Noticing like which foot you want to pass it to, which foot you want to control it on, how you want to position your body, defensive and offensive. It's all minor details that make it all look easy, right? But going back to space, I think that's the most important thing. Just recognizing where the space is, creating your own space so that you can create opportunities, right? And that's what St. Edwards did very well in teaching us is space. And they said, find it here, find it there, find it in behind, in front. It was all great.
Of course, yeah, no, that sounds absolutely amazing in general. And so, yeah, I guess going back to, of course, the RGV Red Crowns, you all ended up, of course, I don't know necessarily when everyone was able to train with each other, but I mean, just talk about that. I guess when you all were first on the field together as a unit, as one team. I mean, what was that like? Because of course, we've talked about it before. You had some players from NISA, so like Zach Hargreaves, for example, and then of course you had JC Alvarez and your St. Edwards teammates, and just everyone was kind of from a different background. Like, just kind of take us through how y'all were able to become one in a way.
Mhm. Yeah, so the first training session we get there, and of course, you know, we all have our groups because we all grew up with different people. So You have one group over here, one group over here, and the other over here, and just old-fashioned way that we all got together was playing some rondo. We ran up the rondo and we all met each other like, "Oh, I'm Vicente. Nice to meet you." Um, and from there, we all clicked because we all read in our eyes that the main goal is to make this club top, to make it a top club for the Valley. And so we all connected on that level. That brought us together, I'd say.
That's awesome. And so, of course, I mean, we talked about it with Coach Reyna when we interviewed him, and this is kind of what I wanted to get with you about as well. Is so, of course, yes, you get to meet Coach Reyna and all this good stuff, but kind of how are you all able to quickly just well, I mean, I guess you kind of talked about it, but just elaborate on buying into Coach's game plan.
I think I'm gonna go back to the game IQ. Um, a lot of studying our own game plan in collegiate soccer. You could tell that we all brought it into the summer league, right? Into Rafa's game plan, which is a great game plan. I love the way he plays. And also after our first exhibition match, um, from there we studied. Arez, our technical director, and Rafa both came together. They made a video, and they gave us, little play by play, teaching us a little bit on their philosophy, and that's how it all came together. And then in practice, there we are, doing passing patterns, everything to learn, and we're all very mature and taking in information, and we've all took it in very well, and have learned how to play.
Awesome. Yeah, and so I guess now, of course, just going into your first match, of course, you have 3 matches under your belt, but one of the things that is kind of interesting as well is, well, that first match. Um, of course, you're on the road. The whole team is on the road. They're at both Corinthians FC of San Antonio's home field,
Yeah,
which ends up being a high school soccer field that a couple of us, at least from the Valley, are familiar with. So,
yeah.
I mean, just kind of take us through that first game, having those jitters, and just what it what it felt like all about. Even though y'all didn't get the result, what was that experience like?
So it was an amazing experience. We get there, locker rooms straight away. They're nice. They're treating us with a lot of respect, which is great. Um, and then we get onto the pitch, and everything starts to hit, right. Um, I usually don't get nervous or anything, so I was excited the whole time because like I love soccer. Right? I just have fun every time I'm on the pitch, so I'm very excited. We start warming up, and everyone's on the same page. Everyone's excited. Everyone's smiling. We're all happy to be there. We're all happy to work hard into the shooting, and then our pregame talk with coach. It felt just like how you have or how you would imagine it to be, right? From being on the stands, you hear us RGV on three, 1, 2, 3. As loud as it is, that's how loud it felt like in that moment, right before the whistle blew. It was something very very uplifting. I'd say it gave us this crazy push that we couldn't have received anywhere else.
Of course, and yeah, what were you able to learn as a I guess, well, as yourself, but also as a team for your team as well, to kind of go into that next match since you all ended up losing 2-0 over the, by the way, top team of this conference. And so, like, yeah, what were y'all able to learn? Because you did play them again this past weekend, but even before that, just to go into that first home match.
Yeah, we learned that we may not have the size that some of these teams have. 6, 8 players, 6, 6, something like that. But what we do have is skill, and what we have is heart and passion as well, right, for the badge. And we learned that with that we can win many games, and then we ended up winning the home opener. Um, and watching the game, we dominated a lot as well against Corinthians on this second loss. We dominated, right, because we did learn that we have the skill to keep the ball. to move it side to side, and we have the skill to score. And eventually, it all came together.
Of course, and yeah, of course, the biggest thing we all know, you end up scoring that first goal for this team. Um, just in general, not even just at home, but that first goal ever for this
Yeah.
club. And so, you know, if you can, kind of just take us through that. It's kind of late in the second half, around the 76th minute, and just, I mean, yeah, what happened? How were you able to do this?
So I see the center back dribble up to halfway, and then Daniel Sierra, I see him get the ball from him. I see this huge gap of space, and in my head, I'm thinking, okay, like this would never happen in an actual game, right? Like, there's no way this is happening. But I ended up making the run. I was screaming to Danny. I was like, yes, 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 ball. Sends it. I take the touch with my left foot. I put it onto my right because I know if I take it to my left, the defender's gonna cut me off. So I had to cut him off. To my weak foot, smash it into the ground, bounces over the keeper, hits the net, and at that point, I'm running to the crowd, and I'm getting goosebumps all over my body. Yeah, I've never played in front of so many people, right? So I'm getting goosebumps. You know, eventually, like I black out a little bit. I forget what happened. I forgot what happened. And then I just remember going back to seeing a guy with a flare, and that brought it in all together. You know, I still think about it. It's kind of crazy. It's an amazing feeling. Like
Mhm.
I can't really explain it.
Well, of course, I don't think I'd be able to explain it either.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'd be the same way in that situation. I'd go into the corner and just like not remembering what happened. It's like, oh my gosh. But I mean, the most impressive part as well is not only did you all score that goal, but being able to focus for the rest of the time. I mean, how are you able to, yes, you scored this massive goal, but get back to just being focused? Because I feel like that's just once something like that happens, I don't even know if I'd be able to focus back. But like, how were you able to just focus and say, okay, game's not over, it's time to go back?
Yeah. So after the goal, uh, quickly realized that it wasn't me who scored. It was the Red Crowns that scored, right?
Mhm.
And we took that, and we got this, I don't know, this stamina push out of nowhere, and we're all running crazy to defend and crazy to attack. And I guess the crowd can kind of see at that moment that this is more than a club. This is a brotherhood, right? That this is love in between brothers, or between brothers, excuse me. And we all decided, hey, we're gonna fight for this win, and we're gonna fight for our family and for the match. And that's what it turned out to be.
For sure. And yeah, full time whistle blows, and you all win that first home match. And of course, yeah, that final match that y'all played so far. Um, I mean, just kind of, I know it wasn't the result that you all wanted, but this was one of the most impressive parts, in my opinion. You all get scored on in that first half, but it felt different from, I guess, that first goal that was scored on the road. And so, like, kind of take us through that. None of the team, I mean, obviously it's early in the match, but none of the team seemed out of it. They were just like, okay, we got scored on. Time to do business.
Yeah, definitely had to say the fans help a lot with that, right? They're still cheering our badge's name. We still have the drums playing, and that just gives us an insane amount of energy to keep on going. Our coaches as well on the sidelines, they're telling us keep going, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, keep going, keep going, keep pushing. And from there, we won the ball off the counter press. A through ball, I get fouled in the box, and then we get a pen. And yeah, yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, of course, Zach Hargreaves, he scores that goal. But I mean, I got to talk to you, of course, after this match. I mean, what could you truly see from it as a whole team perspective? That yes, you all lost 2-1, but what were those positives like to take
The
away?
po- yeah, the positives were that we dominated them the whole game. To be honest, they scored off of two set pieces. We knew that's what their strength was. So unfortunately, they scored off of those. But the positives were that we dominated. We were swinging the ball side to side. Despite our size, we were winning balls in the air. We were fighting. You know, we were giving it our all. Um, we were also communicating very well, right? In the movements, the space, creating space for each other. So a lot of positives to take away so that we could bring it into this next weekend and win.
Of course, and yeah, yeah, you scored 1 goal, of course. You as a player expect to score more, but I
Yeah.
mean, what is it going to be like? It seems like every week, I guess, as I look at the roster when I get it on on the Saturday, seems like it's almost forever changing in a way. So, like, how is it to play with I guess almost like a new forward almost every week so far?
Um, well, we see it day in and day out at training. You know, whoever's performing better, they'll play, right? So it's never a change of feelings ever. It's always a sort of secure feeling, I guess. Because like I said, we see them every day in training. They're performing super well. Like Isai, he was out for a couple of weeks, comes into the squad and immediately locked up the whole midfield alongside with Zach and Keviano. It's something great, right? In practice, like I said, we all push each other to be the best, and that's why there's different names here and different names there. But all in all, it's a secure feeling.
Nice, for sure. I I mean, yeah, that's good. So y'all travel up this weekend to Central Texas to play against the Central Texas Coyotes. Of course, yes, the game plan is to win, but how do you truly what have you been doing? I guess I know that you mentioned that y'all didn't have practice, I guess, yesterday. You got to rest up a little bit more. So do you say that that may potentially benefit you a little more this week to being just, I guess, a little extra well rested and ready for any fight coming your way?
Definitely, yeah. It gives us an extra day to hydrate, rest, stretch out. We all watch film, and we all agree that hey, we need to watch film. So we study our game, and then we study Central Texas's game, see how they perform, all that. But yeah, that extra day it definitely helped out. At least with me, right? I feel much better. So yeah,
I mean, that's all that matters. And of course, to JC Alvarez as well. I know that he was down after one of those saves early on, and I think that first half. So definitely would probably help him as well. So
yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
So I mean, that's good. Well, I guess what do you also expect from that? Yes, you have that travel and all of that, but what do you really expect to see from the game, especially with your team and all that fun stuff?
I expect nothing less than what we saw Saturday, right? And that's not in like in a rude way towards my mates or anything, but it's because our standard of playing goes up every day, day by day. And we, I guess, as a whole, expect a win, right? We expect to play well. We expect to understand each other. We expect to bring back home a win for the Red Crowns.
Of course. And so, yeah, I actually have a question from Edson real quick. I didn't even see this, but I think this is a great one, kind of almost to end on as well. Is so, of course, you know that you're playing summer league. You maybe don't necessarily know your future in August or somewhere, or maybe you're going to go back. We don't know that yet, and not trying to get you to say
Yeah.
where you are, but he just wants to know possibly where do you see yourself potentially in 5 years, which is pretty.
I,
Yeah, it's a fun question.
yeah, that's a very nice question. Hopefully, if it's in God's plans for me, I would like to see myself in a professional soccer league, whether it's first, second, third division. That's the dream at the end of the day. But again, it's all up to God. I leave it up to Him. He gives me the strength to keep playing, to keep on going out in this crazy heat for a reason, right? Which is why I feel and see myself playing professionally in 5 years. But at the end of the day, it is up to God.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, I think our time is just about to run out as well. But I mean, yeah, any final thoughts from you? Is of course, yeah, you got this game this week, and we talked about it. But yeah, any final thoughts you want to shout out anybody or anything like that?
Yeah, my family. Want to shout out my family. They're there every game. They're going to be there every game, and the support is the best from them, all of them, from everyone. And also, thank you very much for having me. This means a lot. It doesn't happen a lot, but this is, yeah, I feel great. So thank you very much. This has been a very nice experience.
Of course. Well, yes. Thank you so much for being able to come on here, and it was kind of last minute, but it worked out in the end. And yeah, dude, it's always fun talking to you, Vicente, because man,
Yeah, likewise.
you have so much to talk about, so much experience as well, and always
Thank you.
fun to just catch up with any friend for sure.
Yeah, likewise, likewise.
But yeah, well, thank you all so very much for watching this awesome interview, and hopefully you all enjoyed Vicente Alvarez, his story, and all that fun stuff.
Okay, thank you.